Jayson Stark, the great baseball writer for The Athletic, senior baseball writer, MLB Network studio analyst, kind enough to join us. Good morning, Jayson. How are you?
Dan, I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, but I couldn't help but watch that press conference with Bryce Harper and just go, oh, wow. He's not flirting. It feels like he's holding hands with Mike Trout. Like, am I wrong?
Yeah, can players be charged with tampering?
I know.
He didn't write a check. That's about all that was missing.
But what do you think about that possibility that he did talk to Mike Trout about this? I don't know when negotiations started with Trout to keep him there, but it feels like this is sort of an open love letter to Mike Trout to say, I took less. This is a team-friendly deal. I'm making room for you.
Oh, I think you're reading it right. I actually wrote about this 3 months ago that the Phillies had their eyes on uniting these two guys. They know everything you would ever want to know about Mike Trout. They know his favorite lunch spots in Millville. They could tell you exactly where his Eagles season tickets are. They know everything about him. And if by some miracle he ever gives them that opportunity to sign as a free agent or trade for him, that is going to happen. I mean, you saw the way this owner pursued Bryce Harper. Now imagine that's Mike Trout. Oh, my God.
But if you're the Angels and you're Artie Moreno, I'm guessing a 12, 13-year, $400 million deal. Could that get it done? Like, is Mike Trout happy with the Angels?
Well, I think he's very comfortable there. And I don't know anybody who would tell you otherwise. And, there's kind of a narrative that he loves Philadelphia. I talked to a friend of his for that story I wrote, and he said, Mike doesn't think of himself as a Philadelphia guy. He thinks of himself as a Millville guy. And Millville, New Jersey is not exactly South Philly, right? So I don't think this is a done deal that he's going to force his way out of there and wind up in Philadelphia. I really don't. Somebody told me 2 weeks ago when I was in Arizona, there is no way that Artie Moreno allows Mike Trout to leave. And I honestly believe that. I also think it was one of the motivations for the Phillies to do what they did. And this might be the only opportunity they get to sign a star of this magnitude.
Talking to Jayson Stark, the Athletic senior baseball writer and contributor to the Major League Baseball Network. You also look at that city that you know so well, the romance period with Philadelphia and Bryce Harper. How long does it last?
What could possibly go wrong, Dan?
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
I talked to Jason Worth, who is a good friend of Bryce Harper's and played with him 6 years in Washington. And I said to him, what do you think the over-under is on when Bryce first gets booed? And he said, it could be opening day. I said, wait a second. You really think he's going to get booed on his first day as a Philly? And Jason Worth said, you really think that's out of the realm of possibility?
Wow.
And I don't. I've lived in Philly too long, and this is not going to be The Bachelor. It's not going to be that kind of love fest. It's going to be very different. There's going to be jerseys flying off the shelves and ticket sales and love, and all that's wonderful. But think of the ups and downs Bryce has had in his career. And when he goes through those downs, people are going to notice. I think that's safe to say.
Is Dr. J the only significant athlete in Philadelphia who didn't get booed?
I think Chase Utley is also in that group. Now, Chase tells a story. He hit a grand slam in his first at-bat of his career, struck out in his second at-bat, and he says he got booed. I don't recall that, but I don't remember him getting booed afterwards. And, like the odds of Bryce going through 13 years and not getting booed, they're zero.
Yeah.
They're zero.
Yeah.
Right? They're zero.
I was also wondering this, and I've asked some of our baseball guests, that if I look at Aaron Judge and what he's going to be worth to stay with the Yankees, he doesn't strike me as a guy who's going to go in the open market Mookie Betts, what he's going to mean to the Red Sox, and what Mike Trout is going to mean to the Angels. If you were going to handicap those three, Trout's going to get the most, I'm guessing. But where does Judge and Mookie Betts fit in here when they get this big contract extension?
Well, I think Mookie has got the age thing going for him, so maybe that gets him more years. Judge is further away, so it might be a whole different labor deal by the time that one gets done. Who the heck knows? But isn't it incredible how things have changed in like 2 weeks? Seriously, Dan, I had people in baseball telling me this month that no player would ever get a 10-year contract again. So much for that.
Yeah. 10
years for Manny, 13 years for Bryce, and I would love to be Trout, Mookie, Judge, Paul Goldschmidt for that matter.
Of these, I hate these 10-year deals, and I know that the Padres had to go to 10 or they wouldn't get him. It's sort of like what the Angels did. When Artie's going to go all in on Albert Pujols, I have to give you a deal that you can't turn down. Which deal is going to be worse, the Phillies or the Padres?
Wow, that's a fun question. I can't imagine that 13 years of Bryce Harper with no opt-outs is going to end well. I don't know that Manny's deal is going to end well. Here's the one thing that I think, for me, is a separator. You can talk about all the metrics that you want, the defensive ability of Manny Machado compared to Bryce. You can tell me all of that. Here's one thing I know about Bryce Harper. He wants to go down in history as an all-time great player. I really feel like he wants to be some kind of cross between Mickey Mantle, Barry Bonds, and LeBron, and I'll invest in that guy every time, because you can't be great unless you truly aspire to be great, and Bryce does that. It's going to be really fascinating to watch all this unfold.
It's good to check in with you, Jayson. Glad you're doing well, and we appreciate your time as always.
Dan, it's always a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
That's Jayson Stark, the Athletics senior baseball writer.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.